Hello friends, today's meal of curry calamari and fried fish is perfect for seafood lovers. It's comforting, budget friendly and comes together very quickly. If you're interested in learning to make the perfect curry and the most delicious fried fish that's crisp on the outside, let's start cooking. Here I have 1.5 pounds of calamari, also known as squid. In Trinidad we have a smaller version that's called scuttle. It's been soaking in lime and lemon water, and let me show you how I prepared it. I purchased it pre-cleaned from my fish market, and I suggest you do the same to save on work. Reach into the body cavity and remove the internal organs, if any, including the inside or the clear quill or pen running along the length of the body. Pull it out gently and discard it. This quill helps the squid maintain its natural shape and is not edible. If the skin is still long, you can scrape it off or peel it off with a knife. To prep the tentacles, I just cut it into smaller pieces. There's usually an eye or round ball at the top that I cut out. When I was younger, back in Trinidad, about 9 or 10 onwards, it was my job to clean all the shrimp and scuttle my parents brought home. So I've had lots of practice. Rinse several times with cold water after you've soaked it with the lemon or lime, or even some salt if it's very fresh. To season, you'll need 1 plum tomato, and I had this in the freezer, which is why it looks questionable. You'll also need 3 tablespoons of green seasoning, 1 hot pepper, a bunch of bandania chopped, 1 onion chopped, and a few sprigs of thyme. I also have a fresh batch of green seasoning. Check out my original video link below to see how I made this. Next, I'll season the calamari with 3 tablespoons of green seasoning, 1 teaspoon of salt and ½ teaspoon of black pepper. Next I'll add half of the chopped onion, reserving the other half, and 1/3 of the bandania. Finally I'll add the chopped hot pepper, the tomato, and I'll mix well to combine. And please use a larger bowl if you have any common sense. Massage that seasoning into the calamari. I've also rinsed and drained 1.5 pounds of fish. I believe this is red snapper. Season the fish with 4 tablespoons of green seasoning, 1 teaspoon of salt, ½ teaspoon of black pepper, and a little bit of oil to bring it all together. Rub the seasoning in well and allow it to marinate for a minimum of 30 minutes. I'm also preparing dal. I have 1 cup of split peas, what we refer to as dal in Trinidad. In this pot, I started with about 8.5 cups of water, a couple of cloves of garlic, more the merrier, hot pepper, and 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric, which we refer to as saffron in Trinidad incorrectly. So this is going to boil for about an hour, and then we'll chunkay in the end. To cook the curry calamari, heat a couple of tablespoons of oil over medium heat in a medium-sized pot. When the oil is hot, add about ½ teaspoon of whole grain cumin, geera, and allow it to brown. Then add your onion and hot pepper and allow the edges to brown as well. It will take a couple of minutes, so be patient. Next, I'll stir in the curry powder. You can use your favorite curry powder in this recipe. I usually add the link to the curry powder I used on my blog under the recipe. We'll cook the curry for a minute or 2 in the hot oil with a hot pepper and onion. Then we will add 2 tablespoons of the green seasoning, followed by about a ½ cup of water. This step is very important, so allow the curry to cook until it's grainy and fragrant. We're developing the flavor of the curry here and removing the rawness. Heat is now on low to prevent it from burning. You want to cook it low and slow. As you can see that the oil is beginning to separate from the curry, which is exactly what we want. Then we will add in the seasoned calamari. Just scrape off any seasoning from the bowl. Then stir it well to combine. Since we added the calamari, it decreased the temperature of the pot, so raise the heat temporarily to high and then reduce it back to low once it comes to a bubble. I did not like the light color of the calamari, so I'm adding an extra 2 tablespoons of curry powder at this point. You can add the total amount of curry powder at the beginning. As I always say, I make the mistakes, so you don't have to. The curry is fully incorporated. Cover the pot, reduce the heat to about medium-low, and we'll cook for about 20 to 30 minutes checking every 5 to 10 minutes. The dal's been cooking for quite a while, the sauce has thickened, and the dal itself is very tender, so I will swizzle to create a smooth consistency or texture. If you like chunks, you don't have to swizzle it so smooth. Remove from the flame to prevent any further evaporation. The calamari has now relinquished its natural juices and the aroma is filling the house and everything looks absolutely delicious already. I'll cover again and we'll continue to cook until most of the liquid has evaporated. Next we'll chunkay the dal. We'll heat a small pot over high heat. I'll add a couple of tablespoons of oil. Full recipe on the blog, cookingwithria.com. I'll add about a teaspoon of whole grain geera again, followed by some onions, sliced pepper, and sliced garlic. And I'll cook that until it becomes aromatic and the edges are brown. And this is what's known as the chunkay or tempering process. It adds that final bit of flavor and brings it all together in absolute deliciousness. It's creamy, dreamy, not too thick and not too thin. It's just the perfect consistency for me. And this Trinidad dal will be superb with my curry calamari and fried fish. I just can't wait to dig in. I might just start my meal by drinking some in a cup. The calamari is beginning to stick and that last development of flavors has begun. It's a good point to test for salt, for doneness, for tenderness. Take a little piece and bite it. If it's still too tough, you'll know how much water to add. If it's very tough, add maybe a cup of water. If it's not so tough, but you do want some liquid, add about a half cup of water. And also add more salt if required. I'm going to finish up with about a half teaspoon of ground roasted cumin, also known as geera, and chopped bandana or culantro. If you don't have bandana or culantro, you can certainly use cilantro. Turn off the heat and let's start frying our fish. I know you're all hungry right now. Don't worry, dinner will be ready soon. Bring about 2 cups of oil to temperature in your frying pan, and while that's coming to temperature, you'll dredge our fish in flour, all-purpose flour. This is important not only for flavor or for that outer crispness, but also to absorb some of that moisture in the fish so that it doesn't splash when it hits the oil. I'll immerse the floured fish ever so gently in hot oil to prevent any mishaps. And I'll repeat with the next slice of fish. My pot can only hold 2 slices, so that's what I'll start with. While that's frying, I'll get a head start and start flouring the remaining pieces. At this point, my oil is hot, so the heat is on low. Once the bottom is brown, I will flip and cook the other side. Use a splatter screen to prevent any mess. Set the timer for 7 minutes, please. Timer continues for 7 minutes, starting now. I timed the cooking of the fish and it takes about 7 minutes per side. And I like my fish a dark golden brown, so you can cook it to whatever color you like. Just ensure that it's fully cooked. If you're frying fish for curry or stew, as you've seen in my curry fish and stewed fish videos, you don't have to fully cook the fish. In this case, I'm eating fried fish, so I need it to be fully cooked. And once you're happy with the color, you can remove it and allow it to drain. After removing the first batch of fish, raise the heat to bring the oil back to temperature and then place your remaining pieces gently into the hot oil. Since that takes about 7 minutes per side, I have ample time to clean up my mess in the kitchen and wash my dishes. The secret to getting a crisp exterior on your fried fish is flipping the fish ever so often. Also keep in mind, if you want crisp fish, you have to eat it the same day. Next day will be great in fish pies, fish sandwiches, or fish tacos. And that's it. The timer is up. Our fish is done frying. I just can't wait to dig in. Looks beautiful and tastes delicious. Perfect for seafood lovers. I love enjoying my fried fish with dal and rice or sada roti and a lime pepper sauce on the side. And that's all there is to it, my sweet friends. I hope you've learned something new today or enjoyed being in the kitchen with me. If you have, please like, share, leave a lovely comment below, and subscribe if you wish to see more. Until next time, stay safe, be well, cook, share, and love. Bye-bye.